Hello everyone. Today we'll be covering viral diseases part 2. Starting with first is hepatitis. Viral hepatitis means inflammation of the liver. Hepatitis is a word meaning inflammation of the liver. Liver is a vital organ that processes nutrients, filters the blood, fight against infections. So what are the causes for it? First is heavy alcohol usage by the person, toxins, medications, and viral infections, either by viral hepatitis A, B, and C commonly. Now, how it spreads? Hepatitis A spreads on contact with stool, object, food, and drink of the infected person. Hepatitis B spreads via blood, semen, body fluids, poor infection control, and for infants from the mother. Hepatitis C spreads via blood from an infected person, shear of infected needles, poor infection controls, and infants from the mother. Now, clinical features. Hepatitis A, the patient may feel sick, fatigue, fever, and weight loss, but there is no lasting damage to the liver. Hepatitis B is something serious. In 15 to 25% of the cases, it's being chronically infected, and the patient may develop cirrhosis and liver failure, followed by liver cancer. Hepatitis C, more than 50% got infected and develop a chronic infection for it. Oral health considerations, important thing, we what we should look for is the patient will have impaired liver function. So patient will be having jaundice, easy hemorrhagic capacity, and presence of petechiae, hematoma, and ecchymosis all over the oral cavity. We can have palmar-rhythma, edema, urticaria, gynecomastia, Duprin contracture, spider nevi, and silosis is there in patient. Patient with severe liver impairment are best managed in the hospital settings. But if the patient is proper okay after the infection, if it comes, then it can be done in the dental clinic settings. Otherwise, in the hospital settings, we should do the patients where we have option of fresh frozen plasma can be provided to such cases. Treatment is hepatitis A and B infection can be treated symptomatically. Supportive care is there. In severe cases, interferon therapy has been given, and certain antiviral drugs like lamivudine and Tiracare can be given. Hepatitis C, the available thing is preglylated interferon alpha and ribavirin. Now, just to summarize for all of you, we have hepatitis A. Hepatitis A spreads by fecal-oral route. There is a loss of appetite, diarrhea, fever, nausea, and malaise, 6-week recovery time, but there is no permanent damage to the liver. Hepatitis B, there are, spreads through sexual contact or contaminated needle use or from mother to child. Cirrhosis of the liver is there and liver cancer can be there. Hepatitis C is blood to blood transmission. It causes liver cirrhosis and liver cancer in later stages of life. Otherwise, it will cause flu-like symptoms. Hepatitis D can only be there if you have in your body hepatitis B. There is a greater risk for liver failure, increased risk progression to liver cirrhosis. The transmission occurs by contaminated needle use by the drug users or sexual contact. Hepatitis E is a fecal-oral route, 2 to 6 weeks duration. It causes jaundice. It's more commonly seen in the patient suffering from jaundice, nausea, and fatigue. Now, coming on to AIDS or the HIV. The AIDS is an acquired immunodeficiency syndrome caused by HIV, a disease of the immune system due to infection with HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. It destroys the CD4 lymphocytes of the immune system, leaving the body vulnerable to other life threatening infections and cancers. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome is the most advanced case of HIV infection. Now, how it transmits? It transmits with the unsafe sex with the infected individual, homosexual or bisexual males, heterosexual promiscuity, sexually transmitted disease from the cofactor. Also spread in intravenous drug abusers, hemophilics, and the recipients of blood. Perinatal transmission occurs from mother to child up to 42%. Placentally, it spreads through contamination of the maternal blood and infected amniotic fluid. It also spreads. There are chances of spreading via breast milk also. Now, what are the stages of HIV? There can be four. The first is primary infection. There is a flu-like illness, process of a seroconversion. The virus is establishing in your body. No test is positive in this duration. Stage 2. It is asymptomatic stage. An average of the 10 years HIV in the peripheral blood low, very low. Viral load tests are sometimes positive or negative. Stage 3, because the virus is in window period in stage 2. Stage 3, there is a symptomatic HIV infection. Now it will become positive because the lymph nodes and tissue become damaged. With this, T helper cell destruction started in the body. The body fails to keep up with the replacing T helper cells that are lost. Stage 4, it progresses to HIV infection, progresses to a syndrome in which many diseases occur at the same point of time, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. There are opportunist infections, there are recurrent severe bacterial pneumonia in patient. Now, if we talk about these stages, in asymptomatic or the stage 1, the CD4 cell count is more than 500 in the body. In stage 2, the CD4 count is almost to the 300, and in clinically symptomatic phase at less than 200. So what we have in a patient is fever, weight loss, mouth, there is ulcer and your candidiasis infection. Esophagus, there are sores, muscles, there they will be aching throughout, myalgia. Liver impairment is be there, skin rashes are there, gastric, nausea and vomiting may occur. Laboratory diagnosis is variety of diagnoses are available in the labs. Screening tests can be done by ELISA or TriDot. Rapid testing can be done by lattice agglutination or dot plot assay. Special screening tests can be done HIV 1, 2, and O groups. There are P24 antigen assays also available. Western blot, radioimmunoprecipitation, immunofluorescence testing, PCR, viral isolation, and salivary gland testing is there. Now, why it is important? Because it causes variety of oral lesions. All the opportunist infections will come and play a role in oral manifestations of AIDS. First is fungal. Fungal is candidiasis, which can lead to pseudomembranous candidiasis, erythematous candidiasis, and angular cheilitis. Another fungal infection affecting oral cavity is histoplasmosis. Next is cryptococcosis. Viral infections. Viral infections can be herpes simplex, zoster, human papilloma lesions, cytomegalo, and hairy leukoplakia. Bacterial. Bacterial can be linear gingival erythema, ANAG, Mycobacterium avium complex, or bacillary angiomatosis. Neoplastic. Neoplastic can be Kaposi sarcoma and non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Ulcerative. Ulcerative can be recurrent aphthous stomatitis in a severe form or the herpes simplex virus infection in a severe form. Then we have others. First is again the aphthous stomatitis, as you all know, immunothrombocytopenic purpuras, ITPs, and salivary gland enlargement is very common in an AIDS patient. What to be given now? There are, as such, no absolute treatment for HIV, but still, to control the viral load, heart therapy is given. Heart means highly active antiretroviral therapy. It consists of two types of drugs. One is reverse transcriptor inhibitors, the other is non nucleoside reverse transcriptors, that is NRTI, and non nucleoside reverse transcriptors in NNRTI. So there is a variety of lists for first is NRTI, then we have NNRTI. What happens if you got infection from an infected individual? That is post exposure prophylaxis, PEP for AIDS. Fear most the needle stick injuries. Nearly 1 million suffer needle stick injuries each year. So, of these hundreds, what you can get? You can get either hepatitis B, C, or HIV. HIV is important because no cure is there. So, first thing is always remember while working on the patients is proper washing of the hands, wearing gloves always, wearing face mask and eye protective gear. HIV and HIV status of the source from whom the exposure has occurred. It has three categories. First is HIV test comes negative in exposure prophylaxis patients. Second is the HIV test become positive if you have needle stick injury. Third is no status can be identified because the virus undergoes a window period, so you don't have the status. So in two conditions, in EC2 and EC3, the PEP is given. In EC1, it is not required. Now, what is to be given in the PEP is basic regimen for 4 weeks, means almost a month we give to this patient. Then again, we repeat the lab testing. In repetition of the lab testing, if again it becomes positive, we have to give expanded regimen to the patient. So first is zidovudine with can be combined with lamivudine 600 milligram daily in 2 to 3 divided doses, and lamivudine is given 150 milligram. One other option is lamivudine you give with stavudine 150 mg and 40 mg BD. Danosine with stavudine is another being one option. Suppose if a patient becomes again positive after 4 weeks, then you have to give expanded regimen in which again for a 1 month patient has to continue these drugs of indinavir 800 mg every 8 hourly, nenfalamine 750 milligram 3 times a day, abacavir 300 mg twice a day. I always say be safe, not sorry for AIDS. Thank you.